from Hong Kong, and we had to fly over the typhoon that's kind of hit Taiwan and the east coast of China there. So it was a bit of a scary flight, but yeah, we arrived yesterday, we got in yesterday evening, and then we went and had some Korean barbecue food. So that's what we've done. And then here we are at the gig. Yeah, I mean, on the day of the gig, I can't do a lot. I like to kind of sleep as much as possible the night before, and then I like go to the gym, and then that's all I can do. And then we have to come to the venue and sound check. So on the actual day of the show, I don't really have time to go and like sightsee as much as I'd like, you know. So we had dinner. Today's the gig. And tomorrow I leave in the afternoon, so maybe in the morning I can go and see a little bit of Seoul again, yeah, and see some sights. 6. Awesome. We've always loved coming to Korea, and one thing that we've really noticed is the Korean audience, they kind of go really, really crazy, you know, because we've done a lot of traveling around Asia and all over the world, but you know, every country and every culture has a different way in which they react to the music. And from like the first time we ever came to Korea and played, we noticed that the audiences kind of go pretty wild, you know, which is great for us to see, because it, you know, there's like this kind of like out of control feeling that's happening in the shows, which is great. But I don't know, we've been to Seoul right in the middle of the winter, where it's like fucking freezing and the whole river's just ice. Yeah, completely frozen, and it's like it's too cold to go outside. And then we've also been here in the summer and done like the Jinsan Festival or something like that. Yeah, and that's awesome. So we've, you know, Korea's always like fun for us to come here and play. Well, we just, you know, the album definitely sounds a bit more organic and a little heavier, and there's a bit more guitar and stuff like that on it. I think, you know, we just wanted to make a bit more of a rock album. I think the last 2 albums before this, we were quite experimental with musical styles, which we loved doing. You know, we experimented a little more with electronics and like orchestral stuff. And I think this time round, we just kind of wanted to make some rock music, you know, because we wanted to. But yeah, I suppose the process of putting the tracks together was, you know, quite a organic setup in many ways, because it was just us kind of jamming out the songs in a room rather than being like in a studio and building up tracks like track by track, which is what we've done before, particularly with the more experimental stuff. So, you know, I think this album ended up sounding quite live and free because of that, which is what we set out to achieve. You know, this album is a bit different, I suppose, because lyrically there's a bit of a theme that runs through it. Like more of a theme than we've ever done before. I think we've kind of touched on concept albums before, but this one is, you know, closer to that idea. You know, there's a bit of a theme, a bit of a narrative, and you know, we kind of discussed it, and you know, Matt came in and we, you know, came up with this idea and talked about it, and we're like, cool, well, it would be good to use this concept of drones as a metaphor, and to use that as something to kind of stitch all the tracks together. So, I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, I think it worked out, really. But yeah, it's kind of tough to do, to kind of make it really, really clean, you know, but I think we got pretty close to it before, you know. We got pretty close to it this time rather than what we've done before. On Mars.
Yeah, and do you think it's going to ever happen?
I would perform on Mars, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. It'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take 2 years to get there, which would be a bit of a ball ache, but the most difficult track is, well, we were just playing The Globalist in the sound check off the new album, which is kind of the big 11-minute thing. So we're still like rehearsing it to get it ready for later in the year, and we still can't play it. So that's pretty hard. I mean, yeah, it's just there's a lot going on. There's lots of different parts, and you know, from a drumming point of view, it's just quite you know, the different sections are quite different, so you have to very quickly adjust. So that's a little tricky, but you know, we'll get there. I don't know. I always find, like, you know, the really slow, simple songs are normally the most difficult. You know, it's kind of easier to play fast and more like complicated, like Stockholm Syndrome or something like that, because you can cover up your mistakes with the speed of the song. But trying to like play really slow and like simple things without speeding up, that can be the most difficult sometimes, being like really like just locked into your groove. You know, unintended used to, not so much now, but we don't really play it, but like back in the day, you know, that used to get on my nerves because it'd be, you know, you find yourself speeding up, slowing down the whole time. So it's, you know, staying like slow and consistent is probably the most difficult. Yeah, I don't know what the secret is. I mean, we've been together for a while, but let's see. I mean, you know, we just started so young. You know, we started when we were 12 or 13, and kind of, you know, grew up together, you know, until the point that we were able to actually record our first album and release it. So we'd already kind of been quite tightly together for a good amount of time before anything really serious happened in our lives, you know? So, yeah, I don't know, I think we're just like brothers, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, we knew each other so well before, like I said, we started traveling and it all got kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that helped, you know, it kind of keeps you quite grounded. But, you know, just, well, you know, enjoying the music, you know, like it's having a great, you know, working relationship. I think also being able to kind of push each other, you know, and particularly in the studio, we often find that we challenge each other quite a lot in some ways to kind of to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. You know, that's great because it keeps you on your toes, and I think we've always felt like, you know, we get a lot out of Muse creatively, all three of us. So we haven't felt the need to go, oh shit, you know, I've got to go and work on this on my own, because I think Muse kind of supplies that for us, you know, and the whole like, I'm going to go and work on my own